What if I told you there's a couple key components that is literally costing you millions by not applying? And that is maintaining great focus and willing to commit. Most people are not achieving anywhere close to what they're capable of achieving because they're always avoiding the fear of loss. They are not coming from how they really want to live, how they want their experiences to be, but they're playing it safe. I'm forever working with my elite clients, and it's going to sound so simple what I'm going to tell you, and you're going to say, yes, I do that until it's time to do it. And that is, you have to be willing to fail at your future self than succeed at your current self. Now, everybody wants the results of the top 1%, yet they're not willing to get out of their comfort zone like the top 1%. They're not willing to hire the right mentors like the top 1%. They're not willing to build the disciplines. And they're definitely not willing to understand one of the most important concepts of delayed gratification, where you keep working your principles over and over again, building your processes, and being active as a part of your processes. It's not just doing them to check a box. Your processes are creating your life by design. I want you to ask yourself right now, just look at this year and say, has my focus been locked in? Or have I been obsessed with my comfort zone? And then ask yourself, have I been unwilling to commit to my goals, to commit to what I really wanted? Am I starting and stopping? See, we have to understand that you can have anything you want. I say this over and over again. There's never been an easier time to earn a ton of wealth than in 2024. Because you have a lot of people who are unfocused, a lot of people who are comparing themselves to others instead of going to create what they want. Now, I want this video today to be the pivotal moment for you. I want you, for the next 12 weeks, to absolutely crush it. I want you to create the best discipline you've had all year. That's going to demand focus, but you're not going to create any results without great focus. Look at your results right now. That will tell you where your focus has been. Focus will always determine the results. I remember my mentor used to always tell me the best single work habit you could have, Arash, is focus. And you want to lock in on an idea and don't allow anything to distract you. What else? What are some of the biggest things that hold people back? There's 3 key things in my mind. Number 1, they're distracted most of the day. Number 2, they're unwilling to commit. And remember, commitment is just a choice. And number 3, they're working on the wrong things. If we just do a few of the right things every day compounded over time, we'll create a big result. Now, I want this video to be the pivotal moment where you go, I'm going all in with myself, and you stop avoiding what really needs to be put your attention on to shift your energy to all that you want. I want you to challenge yourself for the next 12 weeks that I'm going to focus all my energy with what I want, and I'm going to create massive breakthroughs. Now, if we're going to do this together, you're going to want to set a goal that is really worthy of you. I want you to set a 10x goal that is going to lead you to an extraordinary life. Now, I will tell you, right now we're at a pivotal moment. It's not just because we're going into quarter 4. Quarter 4 is going to create momentum into the first quarter of 2025. So you want to lock in. Right now, if I asked you, are you living the way you want? You'll know right away. I hope you're watching this and you're living extraordinarily. But I want you, even if you are, to continue growing, continue really shifting your standard up that I could continue to do better and better. Now, for quarter 4 to be an absolute grand slam for you, it's going to take 90 days where you're committed to daily personal transformation every day, where you're focusing on one day, not you're focusing just on today. I'm going to be the best version of myself. Now, this is going to demand an irrevocable committed decision. Now, commitment's an interesting thing because we're all committed to either what we want or what we don't want. We're either committed to creating a world-class life or we're just coasting to the finish line. And commitment takes a great amount of courage because you're not guaranteed what you want. Now, I can make a commitment right now, and if I don't do the right things, I'm not going to achieve it. But once you make that commitment, the whole universe conspires on your behalf and starts supporting you. That's why it demands an irrevocable committed decision. Now, every significant breakthrough is the result, and I want you to pay attention to what I'm about to say, of a courageous deviation from your old thinking. Courage is your best friend. Your goal is going to demand you to upgrade your courage, to elevate your courage muscle. Now, we want to get this philosophy down. It's not about hard or easy. It's that we do whatever it takes because your goal is going to take whatever it takes. Your goal will always determine the processes that must be implemented for the successful achievement of your goal. Now, when you look at that, and if I asked you right now, what is the process of your big goal to be achieved? Would you know that? Well, the process will show itself when you just get started. Most people are assigning a level of difficulty before they even start. They say, oh, this is going to be hard. So they reject it. Now, the process of creating the next 12 weeks is the absolute up level of the next 2 years for you, is the process of taking yourself from whom and what you are to whom and what you want to become. That's the work. The work is just inside. The work is working on you. Now, every time you're aspiring for something far greater than what you have right now. Now, I may be talking to you right now and you're saying, I really want to do this. But understand, every time you're aspiring for something greater, your paradigm is going to try to bring you back. That's where we want to discipline your decision. This is what I'm doing no matter what. By Christmas time, I am going to be the most effective I've been all year. I'm going to stack win after win after win. When you discipline your decision, every day you choose back in as day one. What's going to happen is you're going to build the belief. And the belief is going to turn into knowingness, and the knowingness is going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. But I want you to be aware, the paradigm is going to try to bring you back. Why does the paradigm try to bring you back? Because it defends its own operating system. Its job is to defend its comfort zone. But this is where you have to daily recommit to making that irrevocable committed decision. And once you do that, the space is going to open and you're going to build momentum. Momentum is something we earn by how we think, by how we feel, and by how we act. So if you're locking into daily personal transformation, that's what's going to create a life of freedom for you. Now, when we're looking at this, I'm going to show you in the rest of this video, massive way to do this in the most easiest way. The first thing we have to understand is you. Who am I? See, I want you to look at your results right now. Right now, the results tell us where your current mindset is. Mindset is how you see the world. Now, mindset is 95% of your success. Strategy is only 5%. So we want to really start shifting your mindset by building the right processes. And I want you to absolutely crush who you were from the previous day. The only person you're competing against is your potential. And that's why the very best daily goal that we could set for ourselves is that I'm going to beat my personal best from yesterday. Now, we want to start. The starting point is always this premise. And if you've been following me, you're going to hear me say this almost on every video, that you have infinite potential and there's no end to where you could take yourself. But potential isn't enough. Everybody has infinite potential. It's your defining choices, and this is where discipline and focus commitment comes in. It's the defining choices is where the real work is. And if you start making choices from you at the end of the year, right now in this present moment, every decision is based on your goal. Every action is based on your goal. Every time you're about to get distracted and you reject that idea is based on your goal. You're going to see a massive quantum leap. But I'm going to share with you a huge starting point to really understand what you have to become. You have to have the courage to bet on yourself. Now, I want you from this day forward to see yourself as the best in the world. I want you right now to see yourself that I am the best in the world. And I know what some of you are thinking. Well, I'm not. Forget about that. What if I told you, who cares? From this point on, if you start seeing yourself as the best in the world at what your goal demands, what is going to happen is you're going to start building a belief. The belief is going to turn into the knowingness. The knowingness is going to turn into a self-fulfilling prophecy. But this isn't about arrogance. This is about certainty. The more certain you become, the more you're going to be willing to move mountains. You literally will move mountains once you start seeing yourself from a much bigger idea of yourself. Now, I remember years ago, I was just starting. I was about a year into this business. And my mentor said to me, do you think you're better at me than at what you do? And I said, no. And he said, do you think you're one of the best in the world at what you do? And I said, well, I'm getting better. My results tell me I'm getting better and better. He said, from this moment on, I want you to see yourself better than me. He said, I want you to see yourself as the best in the world. And at that time, I understood what he was telling me. And he went off on how important this was. From that moment, I just started accepting that idea. Now, let me tell you what happened for me. All of a sudden, literally, in that moment, my confidence changed. In that moment, I started looking at the world differently. What he was having me do was fuse with my future self 24, 36, 48 months down the road in that present moment. And I train my clients to already see themselves as the best in the world. But when you do this, I'm going to tell you, you're going to create a quantum leap in your emotional state. And I always look at quantum leaps by one's emotional state because there's a lag time before they're going to see the results. There's a lag time before I see the results. But when my emotional state is 10x, I know the results are going to come. Bet on yourself right now, but I want you to see yourself as the best in the world. And I know that voice that's going on inside of you right now. Is this real? Can I do this? Stop listening to that voice. That voice is a liar. I want you to understand your goal and how you want to live by the end of quarter 4 is meant to be fulfilled. But remember, you got to do the work. The work is you've got to build that discipline. That work is you've got to take 3 action steps minimally towards your goal. And if you do the work will work for you. But in order to do this, to see yourself as the best in the world, we want to build an enormous image of yourself. I literally want you to pause this recording and I want you to write out the image you would have calling me and celebrating me for the best results you've had all year in the next 12 weeks. And you write that down. When we write, it creates feelings. Feelings create actions. Actions create results. But when we write, we create a clear mental picture of that person in our mind. What else does writing do? Writing deepens our commitments. The more you write, literally, the more you commit to doing it. Now, why I want you to achieve and set a big goal for yourself. If you set a 10x goal, you're going to have 10x intentions automatically. Try it for yourself. Don't believe me. Test it. When you set a 1x goal, you're going to have 1x intentions. Why? Because our intentions always follow what we put attention on. If I said to you right now, I want you to picture a big yellow lemon in front of you. Right away, your attention is on that and that's all you see. So once you start seeing what you want, your intention is going to follow. Now, in order to do this, I want you to build a new model of your future self. So we want to stop letting our past determine our present and our present determine our future. We want to really understand that time is a tool and we can leverage it. What do I mean by that? I want you to think about you 24 months from now. What type of confidence would you have 24 months from now? And all you have to do is revert back to the past 24 months. Are you a different person than that person? So everything that I do is I don't see myself as I am now. I see myself as I will be in 24 months. And from that moment, I practice my power of 5, which is every decision I make like the person 24 months from now in this present moment. Every discipline I have the courage to build from the person 24 months from now. Every standard, I live that standard right now from the person of the standard they would have 24 months from now. And I think, feel, and act like the person 24 months from now in this present moment. That's how you're going to leverage time, and you operate with the most amazing positive mental attitude. Now, in order to do what I'm suggesting, to see yourself as the best in the world, we have to own our identity. Your identity is based on, from this moment on, I wanted you to already accept this idea that my identity is fused with what I want. It's based on my goal, and I am going to live that identity every day. Anybody can do something for one day. You can be more fearless today. Start building your identity one day at a time and start thinking of what is my ideal identity 24 months from now, and fuse with it right in this moment. Now, the hardest thing that I'm going to tell you that you're going to have to do is going to create a massive quantum leap requires completely new habits. And it requires letting go of 80% of that old identity. Now, I work with clients all over the world, and this is the number one thing they have the hardest time letting go of. This is what they're so married to. But I want you to make a list of just two habits over the next 90 days that you're going to build. And when you write these 2 habits, this video is a very action-oriented training that I'm giving you. I'm giving you things to pause it and really write it out. I'll tell you a story. I was sharing this with a group I mentored last week. I had a client that I've been working for a little over a year. And he said, Arash, it's going to take me 7 years to accomplish this goal. And I said, maybe. I said, why don't we speed up the time? He says, what do you mean? I said, you could speed up the laws of the universe based on the intensity of your thinking. I said, you're looking at time very linearly. And that's not how time works. I said, we want to use time as a tool. And I want you to set aggressive goals and watch what's going to happen with the time. It's going to shrink because your mind thinks in pictures. So you're going to start thinking of ways you can accomplish this. And I said, why don't we turn the 7 years into 24 months? And I said, are you willing to do that? He said, yes. I said, are you willing to do exactly what I tell you? He said, yes. I said, are you willing to build processes that are so opposite of what you're doing right now? He said, yes. Well, 2 weeks ago, I got a call from him, and he achieved the goal in 1 year. We measured in 2 years, but he achieved it in 1 year. And I said, isn't it amazing what's possible when you go all in? Isn't it amazing when we shatter our old assumptions, what's possible? We shatter our old assumptions with aggressive timelines. We shatter them by understanding quantum leaps can happen every 90 days. But in order to do this, it's going to require you to let go of your old self. Your old self is outdated. My old self is outdated. So I want to keep living in to the best version of myself. And every day I say to myself, just tap into the best version of you today. And then I let it go. Now, why do people have such a hard time of letting go of things of their identity, behaviors, roles, mindsets of their old identity? Because of resistance. They want to succeed at their present self more than they're willing to fail at their future self. Even the highest achievers have to overcome resistance. The resistance is, I'm living better than most. You're doing better. See, you've incrementally improved. I don't want you just to incrementally improve. I want to show you ways to get to your goals faster, more effective, and have more fun doing it. Well, the fun will happen when you do what you love and love what you do. The fun will happen when you're in the spirit of your days. The fun will happen when you're surrounded with an environment of like-minded people who are really more interested in building a bigger and better future. So we have to let go of that resistance, and we have to stop protecting ourselves from who we want to be. See, think about this. If your goal is going to demand, and every goal does, it's going to demand you to be willing to fail at your future self, then succeed at your present self, then ask yourself, why am I so obsessed with comfort? I want you, when you have resistance, that means you have to do it now. Do it now will change your life. When I was failing miserably, the one thing that I did in the first 90 days was everything I did it right away. Well, why? Because my mentor told me, you have to do exactly what I tell you to do. And I said, I said that I was going to do it. I literally went from being unwilling to commit bigger and better than I've ever committed. But the one thing that I was implementing better than any other thing, because I was pretty ignorant then, I did not know what I didn't know, was I did it now. Anytime I felt resistance, I did it now. If you do that, you'll see your results change. But we want to understand, when we're talking about creating a quantum leap for quarter 4, I want you to really lock in on this. It's going to require you to be hyper-focused and hyper-intentional. Intention is your best friend. Intention gets you into the spirit of what you want. But I want your intention to be driven by your goal. Intention is frequency of thought. Weak thought, weak intention. Daily focus on your behaviors. Observe yourself. Am I making decisions from my goal? Am I thinking, feeling, and acting from my goal? Am I saying yes to what I should be saying yes to, or am I saying yes to what's comfortable? So when you study yourself with this philosophy, then it becomes magical. And then we have to identify deliberate practice. We talked about really upping the game for the next 12 weeks. So deliberate practice is building in those habits over and over again, drilling your weakness until it becomes a strength where you build it to automaticity. I want you to practice deliberate practice with just doing it now. I want you to operate with a sense of urgency. I want you to put the foot on the gas, not on the brake. And then I want you to understand, when this becomes a mission, your goal is a mission, you will become unstoppable. And attack whatever you need to work on. If you notice, oh, I'm playing it safe, I'm shrinking, nope, I'm going to reject that idea, and I'm going to take one action that is opposite of that right away. Now, the process of a quantum leap is always about elimination. I want you to eliminate anything that drains your energy. I want you to eliminate relationships that don't work. I want you to eliminate actions that are not productive, that is just busy work. I want you to focus on creating 3 wins every day for the next 12 weeks. If you just do it 5 days a week, times that by 4.3 months, 4.3 weeks in a month, that's 94 and a half wins in 1 month. You times that by the 12 weeks of this challenge, that's going to give you 197 and a half wins. What do you think your results are going to be if you had 197 and a half win towards your goal? And I want you to leverage my thinking. Leverage whatever that is required to leverage that will take you to your goal. Remember, you can get there in a faster way. But this has to start with, what do you really want more than anything else in the world? What do you really want? And I want your want to be your want. I don't want it to be my want. Just because I'm telling you to 10x, I think that's the best way to really show yourself who you are. But I want it to be your want. What do I really want more than anything else in the world? And I want you to understand, your want, you have to want as badly as you want to breathe. Your want has to be through the roof. You want to want it more than anything else. Weak want more distractions. Strong want, your focus will lock in. This is what I'm doing no matter what. Now, I don't want you to justify your wants to anybody. I want you to own it. Wants create abundance. I want you to lock into this. If I could get you to do everything from your want, that want is going to turn into knowingness. And once it's knowingness, it's a done deal. But in order to lock in on our want, to build our focused attention around our want, to not get distracted, to be willing to commit to it, we have to radically accept this idea. I want you to make this so simple. You're accepting ideas automatically and you're accepting them radically already, but most people are accepting ideas based on their five senses, based on their past, based on what they see, feel, hear, taste, and touch. I want you to go to the unknown space. I want you to go to that fifth dimensional world. I want you to build that image and you accept it and you never worry about the how. You never allow the circumstances to control you. This is what I'm doing no matter what. No matter what, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I'm going to create those 3 wins every day. I'm building the new habits and automatically you're going to build the new mindset. But when you radically accept it, it is going to be locked in deep inside your subconscious conditioning and your subconscious is going to go to work on it with you. But we cannot hold that want if we don't develop the standard that want demands. Right now, every one of our wants are at different levels based on where you are in your life. But every want I have, I know I have to up-level my personal standard. Your personal standard is your DNA to success. If you want to know where your standard is right now, look what you're saying yes to. That is your standard. So we want to bring all your results up to your new level of greatness. And when you do that, it's going to become effortless what happens over time. But I want you to draw a line in the sand that from now on, I'm only saying yes to what is in harmony with my goal. What is in harmony with that massive quantum leap in Q4. And I want you to start saying no to everything else. Right now, what you're saying yes to, for the most part, you should be saying no to from your goal. And what you're saying no to, you want to say yes to. Do not negotiate with yourself. Every time you negotiate with yourself, all you're doing is letting the past negotiate with the present and your paradigm won. Do not let your paradigm win. And every time you're starting to say yes to bigger and bigger ideas, you're starting to say yes to your comfort zone, you're building a new standard because standard is showing the world who you are. The higher your goals and standards become, the more aware you're going to be, the more you're going to filter out what no longer works, it's outdated, and you're going to lock in to the right strategies that match them. That's why standard is so important. I really want you to get this. Your standards are operating all day long. It is impossible to exceed the standard we have for ourselves. The higher standard, higher identity. The standards are going to change your story. Your story creates your results. The standard sets your baseline. It's what you're saying yes to automatically. Your standard sets what you see in the world. Remember I always said mindset is how we see the world? Your standard is the most important core value to build. If you're working with a great coach, the first thing they're going to work with you on is standards. Standards always win. That's why I want you to identify what is my old standard, what is the new standard that I want to really lock in on that is in harmony with my goal, with my want, and I want you to pick that standard and live it for the next 90 days. Now, we can't talk about this being the best 12 weeks of your life, the best 12 weeks of 2024, if you're not setting goals that are really what you want. Don't set them based on what you've done the first 3 quarters. Don't set them on what the best you've done over the last 5 years. I want it based on what you want. What do you want? And I want you to have this goal and turn it into a love story where it's always on your mind. I want the goal to be driving everything. I want the goal as big as a billboard for you. When you make the goal such a priority, you will not get distracted. And understand, right now, we have more distractions than any other time in our world. So when you bulletproof your focus you're going to eliminate the distractions. But in order to do this with our goal, we got to be all in with our goal. I want you to put all your chips on the table. That's why I said stop protecting yourself from who you want to be. I want you to lock in. This is a done deal. Now, this is going to take courage. Courage is what is required to achieve big goals. But you have dealt with things that have required your courage. Every one of us has. You've dealt with adversity. I want every time you have adversity, understand that's a good thing. That means there's something really going to be good from it. But I want your why to be through the roof. No one does anything without a why. Jim Rohn used to say, the biggest why always wins. I want you to remember why. What are your reasons to making Q4 the best quarter of your life? Maybe it's to show yourself what you're capable of. Maybe it's because you want to create financial freedom in the next 12 weeks compared to what you've done in the first 3 quarters. Maybe it's because you're tired of being tired. You're sick and tired of being sick and tired. Maybe you're just so inspirationally dissatisfied that you're like, I need this challenge to really jump my game. Whatever your why is, lock in on your why. And remember, forget about how it's going to happen. If you already knew how it's going to happen, you'd already be doing it. And every goal that I have, every goal that you have, tells us that we don't have the confidence yet. How do we build confidence? Through the doing. It's not just listening to me. It's doing what I'm suggesting is going to build the confidence. Now, I want you to make your goal so big for the next 12 weeks that you believe it's impossible. And then what happens when you radically accept that goal? This is what I'm doing no matter what. I am taking myself on. Your mind is going to start making the impossible possible. It will literally start doing it. What I like to do when I'm working with clients, let's say somebody says to me, Arash, I want to earn in the next quarter $100,000 every month. All I do is get out a calculator and I say, how much do you charge for your product or service? And they'll say 10,000. I said, okay, all we have to do is get you 10 of your ideal clients. I said, you could do that in the next 2 weeks if you really lock in. Or I say, what if we created a new product for you? You charge 20,000. Then that's only 5 clients. See, your mind is going to start coming from the goal once you commit to it, once you lock in on your focus and build the standards, and your mind is going to think how to make the impossible possible. When you are just reverting back to what you've done, there's going to be thousands and thousands of ways you can get there. It's just your mind is going to say, just work harder. You just need to lock in and work harder. It's not about working harder. It's about working on a few things 1,000 times with that deliberate practice over 90 days. Those few wins compounded over time daily are going to create the big results. And understand, when you're going after something big, the old strategies won't work. What got you here is not going to get you there. What got me here, I know is not going to get me there. That's why I'm always working with a bigger idea of myself. Now, when we make the goal impossible, you stop working from your present paradigm. You stop working from your past self. You start tapping in to a much bigger version of yourself. That's why building your identity from a much bigger idea of yourself is going to open the floodgates to getting you to your big goal. Now, there's 3 key components of goal achievement. Number 1, we have to fuse with it. Once you accept the idea, this is what I'm doing, all you do is see yourself already experiencing that, and that's how you become one with it. Now, there's a great practice that I use, which is auto-suggestion. With whatever goal I have, I suggest it to myself over and over and over again throughout the day. I recommend you put an alarm on your phone and do it every 3 hours. Well, in 30 days, you're going to create that belief. So now you're going to be fused with it, number 1. Number 2, we pick the identity-based behaviors that our goal requires. I already gave you a huge identity-based behavior, which is urgency, where you do it now. I want you to make doing it now your identity-based behavior for Q4. And then the third part is process-driven. I am taking 3 to 6 goal-achieving activities towards my goal. Some days it'll be 2. Some days it'll be 4. But I'm going to average 3 wins of goal achieving activities every day, 5 days a week, your goal is going to be achieved by default. Now, we cannot achieve a goal, and this is what people have a hard time with. They do not take action, or they take action in their comfort zone. Like I'm going to ask you this right now. If you observe the last 14 days, very small time frame, and you observe your actions, were those actions from your future self? Or were those actions based on what you were comfortable with? I want you to set the tone this week so you create momentum that you're going to take action with a swagger. You're going to take it from the person who already achieved your Q4 goal. Action is the foundation for success. Action is the most important thing that we do every single day. It's not just about knowledge. Knowledge is not going to get you to your goal. Knowledge is just gathering information isn't the deal. It's using the knowledge and implementing it that is going to unleash your potential. But I want you to get really good at interrogating your actions and activating your understanding. See, when we start interrogating our actions, say just for today, did I do my actions from my goal or did I do it from what I've been doing all year long? Interrogate your actions. What happens is when we interrogate our actions, it activates our cognitive map. We have this internal GPS where your brain starts working on whatever you give the most attention to. That's why intention follows your attention. You're giving your brain what to work on by what your magnificent obsession is. I want your magnificent obsession to be about your goal already achieved. Now, develop the ability for the next 12 weeks that I'm going to commit to achieving minimally my 3 goal achieving activities every day. The time to act is when the fire is hot. I hope the fire is hot right now. I hope this is motivating you because I will tell you, you can absolutely create a quantum leap in Q4. But you have to discipline yourself to do it now, to work on your standards, to work with your future self, work with a bigger idea of yourself, to brain tattoo doing it now as part of your day, and we make action automatically into a disciplined activity. Once you do this, your standard is going to increase on its own, and you're going to start falling in love with standard. Standard changed my life, but the standard is going to work with the discipline at the same time, and guess what? Q4, you're going to create world-class quarter. You're going to create world-class results. But when you act, and you act with urgency, and you act with you being the best in the world already in your craft, you're going to start getting results. You're going to start getting them. And the great part is, you're going to love how you feel. You're going to build so much self-respect, and you're going to do this for the rest of your life. And I want you to ask yourself, what actions am I not taking due to discomfort? This will tell you a big story. Your actions will always tell you how badly you want it. I want your want to be through the roof. When your want is so strong, it is an authentic want and it's going to create abundance. But remember, from this point on, every decision you make from your Q4 goal achieved. Every discipline is that 1 to 2 disciplines that you would have to achieve the best quarter of your life. Every standard is coming from the goal. And you're going to think, feel, and act like the person who had already achieved that goal. And I want you, from this point on, for the next, right now when I'm putting this video out, it's about 13 weeks. But I want you to look for the good in everything. If you fail, look for the good. What if I told you failure is not the opposite of success? It's a key antidote of success, because that is a fact. We have to be willing to fail at our future self. Boom, big result. Now, I'm going to end this with what I call my winning process. This is a great process of daily accountability. Number 1, we have to start with our want. Is my want authentic? It is always authentic when I never justify it to anybody, but my want drives everything I'm doing. Then your want requires a daily, irrevocable, committed decision that I'm going to work on doing whatever it takes today. I'm going to work on seeing the world the way I want it to be. I want to feel the experiences like I'm already experiencing it. And I'm going to see what I want all day long. The commitment then demands courage. This is where we got to do hard really well. It's going to demand the courage to get out of your comfort zone. It's going to demand the courage to not tap back into what you've always been. And then the courage is going to activate your confidence. And you're going to get more in the spirit of doing it now. The confidence, it comes from the doing. Now, confidence comes from knowledge and doing. You mix them together, you're going to create a massive quantum leap in your confidence. Then the confidence builds the discipline builds the actions, and then you have your results. That is called the winning process. I want you to challenge yourself. Stop costing yourself millions over years. Over 1 year, there's so many millions lost because of lack of commitment and lack of focus. Watch this video over and over and over again. Do the work always works. And if you ever want my help, I say this on every video, my purpose is coaching. I'm going to coach till the day I die. Get on a call with me. Get on a call with one of my coaches. Let us help you create a massive breakthrough to finish 2024. And let's make 2025 the best year of your life. And when you're watching this, if you haven't signed up for my Transform event, November 18th and 19th, you're doing yourself a disservice. I have a 2-day event where I am going to give you every single process that creates world-class results. Your life is going to transform in that room in Phoenix, Arizona. There's only a certain amount of spots left. You want to sign up. You want to be in the room with like-minded people. You want to start working in my energy and leveraging my mindset. Let's focus on locking in with all on what you want. I want this to be the pivotal video that's going to change your life. That you're going to put all your attention on really progressing your life the way you want it to be. I hope you got a lot of value about this on this video. And if you like this, share it with other people. I want to help millions and millions of people all over the world. Thank you so much.